30 years, maybe 40 years.
I'm still here.
You still look good.
Yeah. Well, we still tour every year, that's it.
So tell us, before I get to kind of the stock question, I have a question for you. How did you feel as a guy that I said, you started the genre. There were a couple of other artists around the same time that brought theatrics. And, again, for those of you that don't remember, Alice Cooper basically stunned the world. He didn't shock the world. When they first saw Alice Cooper, and I love the story of you playing here in LA and people leaving your show, and that's when Shep knew he had something.
Yeah, Frank Zappa and Shep knew they had something when we cleared a building in about 5 seconds.
So like, that guy's going to be huge, right? And so you're a guy that's gone, and again, you're going to have your, the documentary at Tribeca, but you're a guy that's lived in Frank Zappa's log cabin and played golf with Bing Crosby and had a TV. You've done it all. I mean, the word icon gets used a lot, but you're one of the rare examples of an icon, in my opinion. But
thank you.
Motley Crue comes out, first record. Do you look at the album cover and go, what the fuck?
No, I just kind of said, another set of disobedient children. They're all, Kiss and everybody like that, they all end up being friends of mine. It's a compliment to me that we started that genre of theatrics and rock, and, what other music is more theatrical than rock and roll? So why not be the villain of rock and roll? We had 1 million Peter Pans and no Captain Hook. And so I said, well, I'd gladly be Captain Hook, But Motley Crue is, is one of those bands that there are so few rock and roll bands out anymore. By the way, if your band has a banjo or an accordion in it, it's not rock, okay? So when you get Motley Crue and Alice Cooper together on a tour, that's going to be rock and roll at its most extreme.
So what can we expect from the final tour? You two together, you've never toured together before, am I
No,
correct?
actually, it's one of the reasons we're doing this is because we haven't toured together, and the fact that I am their spiritual advisor. I think that's very important because they need a lot. And they're old friends. They're old friends. You've got two shows that are entirely different. Our show is extremely theatrical, and hard rock. It's pure hard rock. Orianti's playing guitar in our band now, and you can't find a tighter band than this band I've got right now. And we tour every year, 100 cities every year. We either go out, we have Marilyn with us, or Rob Zombie. Went out with everybody except Motley Crue. So this is going to be the first time that we've been together. And we said, I thought it was quite a compliment. They're going to go on there, on this tour. And I said, sure, we'll go out with you.
And tell us what you think, speaking of the farewell tour, the final tour, what will people miss about a band like Motley Crue? The spirit that, you embodied and you still tour, but there's not a lot of that spirit left.
Yeah.
What do you think people will miss?
I can't imagine why rock and roll has become so anemic. It's just amazing to me that the younger bands don't want to be Motley Crue. Or, don't want to be Alice Cooper. They want to kind of all look the same and, and be very introspective, which I don't get at all. What's more fun than what happened in the mid-'80s? Every band was fun, Well, I think that era is going to actually come back. So don't put away your spandex yet. It was too much fun of an era for it to go away. But you take Motley Crue, and they were a band that had all the flair. They had all the songs. They did all the theatrics, they did all the stuff that they did well, and they got it. They understood what it was about. It was do a show for the audience, knock them out, and you've got two bands that are going out there to kill the audience, and I think that's going to be pretty exhausting for the audience, not us.
Alice, thanks a lot. Let's hear it for Alice Cooper, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Getting around this is the most dangerous thing.
Okay, so of course it's now time for the moment we've all been waiting for. And again, before we get to that moment, please, if you're going to ask some questions, have them ready and tell us who you are and where you're from, and then ask the questions and address it to the individual band member. Just kind of to recap, again, 72 shows in the U.S. and Canada in 2014. It's the final tour. That's it. You can get information on motley.com. General on sale is Friday. Some shows going on sale on Saturday. And there's going to be a bunch of tickets that are going to be priced at $15 at the on sale, so that we can get as many people in the doors to see this band for the final time. And I think that's really important to note, is that it's a very affordable ticket price in an era when, you know, some artists are able to charge a lot more, and maybe some of them would want to charge less, but for reasons, you know, that they don't share, they don't. But Motley Crue's a band, I think, that's always been very conscious of the fact that they have a lot of working class people as their fans, and those are the folks that help them get to where they are. So we're going to get the band up here in a couple of minutes. So the other thing that I want to mention is, if you look at the, you know, in the history of music of this band, and there's obviously a room full of music journalists here, there's something to talk about, again, with regards to the songs. You know, I think what happens with this band, and we'll ask them about this, but what happens with this band is, you know, when it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you forget that there's songs, and really big songs, you know, and whether it's, you know, Kickstart My Heart, which you can't go to an arena, you can't go to a hockey game, you can't go to a basketball game, you know, you can't go to a football game without hearing, you know, that song. It's one of those iconic songs. And whether it's Dr. Feelgood or, you know, Too Fast for Love or some of their early stuff, you know, and Home Sweet Home, I just go through all the songs that this band has. And you kind of forget, because it gets obscured by